Hi, my name is Lacey Roberts with Grace Media, and welcome to King Talk. I am here with the founder and CEO of Forever Kings, Mr. Jordan Bankston.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Long time no see, but you're everywhere.
I'll be trying to not be, but I do be.
In a good way. When we say we see you, when we see you, we see Forever Kings. And the impact that you guys have continued to make is what we're talking about today in this season of Groww. Looking back at season 6 and the legacy of 6 years of this program. Can you believe it's been 6 years?
It's been 6 years. I was just talking to one of our former staff who was very intricate in the starting of the program. Like, can you believe it is season 7, welcome night, and 10 days? Like, 7 years of impact of figuring it out. So much happened in the world, right? So COVID and, we had the George Floyd and just so much happened. So it's been a wild ride for sure, but I'm so grateful for it.
When you think about the wild ride and those significant milestones that you named and recently with things that are happening with our youth, which makes this program even more significant, when you think back to that first night of Forever Kings in your living room, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
In my 700 square foot living room was the headquarters of Forever King. So my kitchen table was the office. Like, that was my desk. And like there was a printer, there was like staplers, and like all around it was like these large like post-it note wall things with like everything that we needed to do and all the timelines. And it was just me and these 12 young men who wanted to build a space, right, that they got to experience. So they were being mentored by me. So they got to experience that. So how do we create this space for more young men to get to have that experience? We were excited in August. August, it was exciting. September was exciting. November was exciting. We have the launch party. It's fun. Shirts, photo shoots, and then COVID, right?
Everybody felt like that. Like you just, like all the breath was taken away from you from all the work that you put in, but you use it as an opportunity.
For sure. So during COVID, we pivoted, and we one thing that I know from working in the community is that there were going to be tangible needs, and sometimes as organizations, as churches, as leaders, we have to mobilize resources quickly. Sometimes we don't have time to figure it out, right? And Bishop T.D. Jakes says that in crisis lies opportunity. So I sat down and said, what is the opportunity right now? Kids are hungry. School is closed. Rec centers are closed. Boys and Girls Club is closed, right? Kids need access to food, right? We can call it food insecurity or whatever pretty word we want to say, but it's hunger, right?
Yes.
So we started providing hot lunches and hot meals to children and families and having pop-up food pantries, and ended up feeding about 5,000 people through about 3 months. So totally not in the plans, totally not at all what we thought was going to happen, but it was such a launching pad for the work that we did, and gave us collaborations with like La Soup and the Free Store Food Bank, and really, I would say, thrusted us as an organization. And then the second part to that was that we knew that school was not going to go back in a normal way. Nothing was normal, right? So while the world is shut down, right, we are opening a facility. So our very first building in Roselawn on Brookcrest Drive, right, 1,500 square feet. We are literally taking down walls, tearing up carpet, painting, flooring, doing all the things in this global crisis, because what I knew was that young men were going to need somewhere to learn, right? Because the reality is that our counterparts, they were still learning the whole time.
Yeah.
So we know that this achievement gap already exists, right? We know that Summer Slide, all of these things already exist. So now at this point, we got to think kids hadn't been in school for 5 months, right? When school starts, whether it's online, whether it's hybrid, whether it's blended, we need young men learning. So we started Distance Learning Hub. So I thought I was leaving my teaching job and like, I'm be a CEO, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do my thing.
Yes.
And then I went from teaching 1 grade to a lot of grades, right? So we had the Distance Learning Hub probably until about December, Christmas break of that year, till everybody was kind of back at school and things kind of stabilized and normalized. But Season 2 was it was figuring it out step by step. We outgrew that space. So I told the board, I was like, oh, we can do a 2-year lease, like 1,500 square feet. We should be able to stay in there for like
We'll
a
be
year or
fine.
two. It'll be fine, everyone. Wrong.
No.
So we went from 12 young men to 53 to 75. And I was like, hey, I was wrong. So we were able to negotiate getting out of that lease and moved into a bigger space. So just to see literally something that started in my small 1-bedroom apartment has become this organization with a national footprint and almost $1 million in revenue and full-time staff, part-time staff, 100% on time high school graduation rate. So we are committed to making sure that every one of our members graduates high school on time. We just had our first college graduates graduate this year.
That was amazing.
Yeah, truly, truly remarkable to see that. So I'm excited for the year and excited to see, get our families and our young men back here and get to work.
Now, watching you talk about that progression from year 1, 2, 3, 4, and to see those numbers double, even triple, starting from your kitchen to now, seeing the progression, knowing that we're ending another season, starting another one, going back to season 5, was there anything that was huge in a big way that propelled you to make season 6 what it was? Like you said, to that graduating college class, to expanding your services behind what you had already done in those 5 years.
Yeah. I would say in season 5, it was just like such a celebration of 5 years, right? There's so much data that suggests that businesses fail within the first 5 years, and nonprofits, I think it's 3, right? So we had surpassed all of these metrics. So it was kind of like, okay, maybe we can actually stand up on our own, right? And we weren't living paycheck to paycheck, right? So
Yeah.
I wasn't up at night like, who payroll is due? So we were building that financial stability. We were growing, really kind of stabilizing. And last year in season 6, really, really, really took time to focus on how do we make sure that the ground is stable, right? Because we have had to be so responsive, right? We have had to meet so much community need and so fast that I wanted to make sure that we slowed down and we said, hold on. Let's make sure that the ground is stable, because what I don't want is that once I'm gone and my successor is, leading the organization, that they are in here and the ground is shaking.
Right.
So they can still produce great results, but
Okay.
what did he build? Because this don't even have a floor, right? And so often that happens in organizations as 30 years go by and nobody knows the mission, nobody knows the vision, nobody knows why, nobody knows any of those things. So we are just very intentional about culture, about strategy, about making sure that we are who we say we are, that we don't just post pretty pictures on Facebook and Instagram, right? That we don't just produce pretty annual reports, that is truly who we are as an organization.
Truly the fruit of your labor. So would you say, if you had to give me one word to describe season 6, what would that be?
That's a tough one. I would say fruitful. Season 6 really showed the fruit of all of the labor of the past 5 years. So the young men, so we graduated our largest graduating class with 26 young men. So
That's really huge.
oh yeah,
26 young Black men
on time.
on time.
Like they walked at their high school graduation and got their high school diploma. Yeah.
That's huge.
For sure. So I would say they had been in the organization, most of them since 7th, 8th, 9th grade, right? And then our college graduates, right? It's like, this is the fruit. This is why, we made a facility move that we had some hesitancy about, what's the best place for us to be, because our footprint and our demographic is so wide and so large. And we made a great decision, right? And it worked out well. So it's really, I would say as a founder, really finally kind of getting to live in some of the fruit of the labor.
And like you said, it takes time as an entrepreneur to grow a business, to see tenfold of what you're doing. Usually we don't even see that till 10 years.
I didn't even get, people don't know this, but like I didn't take a check for 2 years.
I was just going to say,
For
let's
2
talk about
years.
that. You're talking about trying to make payroll and you had already skipped over yourself.
So what, and that's something people don't realize in entrepreneurship, and I'm sure we can have a whole talk about that, is
whole
that
other talk.
you pay other people before you pay yourself. So that all that stuff that we talking about, you get paid first. It's like, no. My admin was the first person that got paid. The first employee of the organization was not me.
But it is a good feeling once you can pay yourself.
Absolutely.
That's
And
a beautiful
well.
thing. Okay. 'Cause you're like, let me get some back pay
Hello.
from season 2 through 6 and give me a bonus on
And
7.
give me a bonus. And send me on the vacation. I'm just kidding. But yeah.
You can do that because that's where the impact and the growth comes with. So
Yeah.
you were talking about 26 graduates, and we saw that powerful movement at the gala, the biggest graduating class. We talked about your mental health activations that you guys are doing. We talk about mental health, Black men. There's usually a stigma, but I know that's
Sure.
something that you guys work to address in the workshops that you do. So when we think about that, what was like a hard moment in this last season that kind of tested, do you think, Forever Kings and maybe some of the young men?
Oh, that's a great question. Honestly, I would say the hardest moment, and this may sound a bit interesting for me, was that my young men didn't get it. And when I say they didn't get it, they had no clue the world that they were about to step into. So it was this challenging moment for me as a leader is, am I creating too much of a bubble here? Or is the bubble necessary? And how do you find a middle of the two? Because I need you to fully understand that the cards were never dealt fair, but now the box has just been scrambled up even more, right? When we see affirmative action get eliminated, when we see so we're seeing all of this happen in real time, and I have a building full of young Black men. What do I say? How do I say it? How do I address these things? Do we remain silent? And I'm seeing these young men coming through our doors with joy, with gladness, with everything that we want them to, and oh, you don't even know what eliminating affirmative action even means. And how do we even daint their experience and their safe space with these hard realities? So it was a really tough space for my impact team and I to navigate through with them, because you never want them to feel that there's not hope, because we know that no matter what, there is hope in Christ, right? But I also need you to know that you are stepping into probably the most tumultuous economic times, right? So many things. When we think about financial aid and the uncertainty there, so it's I'm working with my member success coordinator to work with our families that we want to make sure that nobody is relying on government money, right? Well, you have young men in here with full Pell Grants. That's $9,000. I don't know about you, but I don't have $9,000 in my back pocket. The average person does not. So there were just so many things happening in the nation, and how do we help them understand without robbing them of their innocence of the space?
So, to be candid, how did that conversation go? Because I feel like eventually you had to have that.
Oh, it's tough. We had them a lot, but I think that they are slowly starting to see it. We were very honest with our parents, with our families. I don't sugarcoat. I say, hey, you need to work your tail off to get scholarships that are not government backed. Nobody knows what September 1st. We still don't know. We still have no clue, right? So we've taken some very intentional steps as an organization to make sure that, we have a plan, and we'll have some very specific asks at our upcoming gala, September 27th, 6 to 10, shameless plug. But it's that, how do you give hope, give calmness, and essentially where my posture was, it's business as usual until I say otherwise. And that was my messaging to the board. That was my messaging to staff. That was my messaging to our members and our families, is that until you hear me say it is not business as usual, it is business as usual.
And you know they're looking up to you for that.
Yeah. Mute the noise. And, the great thing that I feel blessed about is that I've led through crisis. Not like, not a badge of honor, but we've been here before, right? So I think that, and what I love about the ecosystem that we've created is that in those moments of despair and of crisis and of calamity, the unity of our community really shows up. And when I see families working together and partnering with each other and holding each other up through difficult moments, it's like, oh, this is why, right? This is why we do what we do.
So then on that flip side, I know you kind of already answered this, but is there a specific moment throughout this last season that also reminded you of the work that you're doing and why you're doing it?
Oh, I would say the Royal Coronation. So we have a crowning ceremony that we do for our young men. It's our graduation ceremony. Obviously, it's the biggest one that we've ever done. So it's the same size as our gala, right? You're talking about a 300-person event, right? So I could not get it together. I was like in the back room, like, whoo, your eyes are going to be swollen. But it was just such a powerful moment because you stand in front of those young men and you see their stories and you know what they've overcome to get where they are and what they've had to fight through and struggle through. And it was so humbling to see them show up for themselves and to be celebrated the way that they get to be celebrated here.
Now, you're dumbing this down a lot because I was there. So let me tell you the real about what it really happened. When you were up there speaking to those young men.
Oh, yeah.
And the words that you gave them, not
Live
just
on.
something that you wrote down because you went off script. We could tell. When the spirit moves, the spirit moves. And it was thick in there, Jordan.
Live on. That was the word, was that every year I ask the Lord for a word. Like, give me something to say to them that will impart something into him. And it was live on. That I know that life is going to be difficult. Life will crush you. Life will knock the wind out of you over and over and over and over again. But you have to keep living. And that's where we came up with the Groww model from, is that, like, no matter what, you got to keep growing. You got to cut the weeds. You got to cut the distractions. You got to cut anything that's stopping your growth and keep going. It's not going to be easy. And I think that we have done young people a disservice by painting this picture that life is going to be easy.
Yeah.
That you're just going to go to college, move into your dorm.
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun. Like, yeah, for 2 weeks.
You can skip class and you can pick right back up and go to the icebreaker, but this is real life.
You can pledge and go to park. You can do all those things, but you also have to do your work, right?
Right.
And then those 4 years go by really, really fast.
So fast. In a blink of a eye.
In a blink of an eye. 4 years went by, and now what, right? And you've partied, so now you don't have any work experience. So P&G's not going to hire you because you don't even have volunteer or work experience or anything because you was at all the parties, right? So I challenge my team to be very, very intentional to not create delusion for our young men.
I like that.
Life is going to challenge you. Life
is a challenge.
Is a challenge.
It's not going to be easy. 100% graduation rate for 6 years now. That's huge. It's difficult. That's a nice stat you talk about on paper. That's a huge stat to have on paper. But personally, what does that mean, and what do you think that does for other little Black boys and people in our community to know that there are a group of men who are graduating on time on a consistent basis?
Sure, absolutely. So the national graduation rate for Black and brown boys is 37%, right? That should make everyone sick to their stomach. That should make people stay up at night, right? The sad reality is that it doesn't, right? And so often what the research is now showing us is that Black and brown boys aren't even making it to high school, that they're dropping out in 7th and 8th grade. So you may have a 4th or 5th grade reading level ability, right? And you're this big grown 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 young man trying to get a job or trying to navigate the world. How? And you can't read. And you can't write. And you can't add. You can't count your money. I tell them all the time, know how to count your money. If you don't know how to do nothing else, be able to count them coins. Mm-hmm. And don't trust anybody else to count them for you.
No.
So for us, high school graduation is the bare minimum. You have to at least earn a high school diploma to at this point get a lot of jobs, right? To show. And what it really shows the world is that you can persevere through something.
Exactly.
That you can complete something, that you were able to follow directions, right? That you were able to show up, that you were able to wear a uniform, that you were able, all of those things, that soft skills, right? That are so necessary in adult life. And I think, again, that we've done young people a disservice by making them believe that they don't need those soft skills. And it's like, but you do.
You definitely do. So congratulations. Congratulations to that, because that's huge. 6 years in a row. We know it's going to happen again. When we talk about soft skills, I think we need to add in mental health as a skill, because it's a skill to know how to take care of yourself mentally. And then on top of that, you add on becoming a young man. And when we know that we talk about manhood, we have to talk about influence, the people that are around you, elevated conversations, and you guys really took the time to do that in season 6 with mental health. Let's talk about why and how that went.
Yep. So I created a mental health framework probably 4 years ago, post COVID. Shameless, like if we talking for real on the show, friend.
For real, come on.
Nobody wanted to talk to me about it. Nobody would fund it. Nobody would entertain it. People thought I was crazy. That practitioners would never go for it, right? So then once we philanthropy took this shift into mental health, it was like, make it rain. Here you go. And I'm like, well, thank you. But
someone else has to think about it first before we can tell you what we need. But go ahead.
Okay. It's like, you mean like if you don't belong somewhere, you can't like learn there? You don't say. So anyway, what we do, the mental health framework, basically, we give every young man who we serve a mental health assessment 2 times a year. So we bring in licensed practitioners who are minorities, right? Because that's important. Representation matters, right? Language matters, right? So often with assessments and those kinds of things, they're misdone or incorrect, right? Because of the language of them, because of the words of them. So we spent a great time on the cultural competency piece.
Say that again. Culture competency.
We spent a great deal of time finding tools and assessments that we could rely on to be culturally competent, right? So every one of our young men gets that assessment with a licensed practitioner, and I believe every young person should have that opportunity. In every school across the world, every young person should have the opportunity to be seen at least once. So that if there's somebody like, that's Lacey, you might need some additional support.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I promise. I'm good. No, but really, sometimes you need to tell somebody to tell you about yourself, and that's good.
That's good.
And we have to take away the stigma that it's bad.
That it's bad.
It's not.
So we what we did was from there is if the assessment shows that you need some additional layers of support, we have a list of practitioners that we refer to. What was so awesome about last summer when we moved back into our own space is the practitioners would come here. So like in the different rooms, there might be people getting therapy. So therapy is so normal here. It's not a word that people are like, what? You're going, like I say it like, okay, y'all, I'm leaving because I have therapy, right? I encourage my staff to go to therapy, right? I encourage my leaders to go to therapy. Our young men talk about it like, you know, my therapist taught me. You're like, tell me what your therapist told you.
Instead of someone being like, oh, you have a therapist?
You have a therapist. Like, it's not weird. It's very normal. During exams, stressful times of the year, we make sure that we push into that. How do you cope with stress? How do you cope with peer pressure? How do you cope with, everyone around you is choosing violence and you're trying not to? all of those things. And then how do you take care of yourself? Because let's be real, right? There are so many conversations about self-care for women, but not for men.
Not at all.
And people still look at me crazy, like, for the fact that I go to the spa once a month.
As you should.
I'm like, I carry all of this weight. I'm going to see. Shout out to Mary Johnson.
I was gonna say, who is
Gift
she?
of Beauty.
Who is she?
Shout
Helping you
out
out.
to Mary Johnson at A Gift of Beauty. Book with her today. Y'all put the website in there or something like that.
Give us a discount code.
Give us something. Yeah.
Mary, I'm gonna come see you right here. Okay.
Yeah. Right there.
But
It's gonna
really,
be right
honestly,
there
and
for
I
y'all.
think you don't know it until you take the time out to do it for yourself. How much of a difference it makes.
It makes such a difference. I can literally feel the difference in my body and my emotions and my thought patterns when I have not been to Mary. Like, I know. I'm like, oh, this is not right. Because our bodies carry tension and stress. And as a senior leader, stuff comes at you from every kind of way. And so many times you want to clap back.
But you can't.
And you can't, but your body still carries that, right? So self-care is very normal here. Health and wellness, no, go to your doctor's appointment. Please.
Yes.
Go to the doctor, go to the dentist, go do all the things to take care of yourself
those things.
and your well-being. So it is a part of our culture here at the organization.
So we're encouraging these mental health talks with therapists. You're talking about opening up emotionally. And then there's that spiritual part that you guys add on to that. Why do you think that's so important?
Yeah, so we added a optional, so it's not required for members to participate, but we allow them the option to participate in our optional like spiritual life journey. So we have Mr. Jabari does an incredible job leading that work, but I believe that Christ is the firm foundation, right? And that outside of him, you can do nothing. And for our young men, I know how important it is for you to have faith in something. Choose
Something.
Choose whatever.
Yes.
But there better be something else for you to anchor yourself to other than yourself. So we really create a space for them to ask tough questions, to challenge their faith, to figure out who they are in their walk without shame, without guilt. If you feel like you don't agree with what I'm saying, that's okay. This is what I believe. You don't have to believe it. I understand and respect that. We have members in our organization who are Muslim, and we don't infringe on that, right? We love you the same way, right? We don't serve pork products. Like, we are very intentional as an organization that we do not serve pork because we don't want to offend families who, or if we do serve pork, we always make sure there's a chicken option, or right, they deserve meat too. So it's not, we're just going to serve them cheese pizza, get them some chicken pizza, or what else can we do to make sure that we're being inclusive? And we still have work to do in that regard, right? And that's where DE&I is so important, is that we think that diversity is just race. Well, for us, we have members from everywhere, from Lynn Street to Lincoln Heights to Westchester to Dayton and all in between, right? Diversity looks like your lived experience is totally different than mine.
Oh, yes. And just from those neighborhoods is very different.
Your
People don't
reality
understand
is
that.
very different than mine. I'm being raised by my 70-year-old grandma. You're being raised by your two loving parents. It's going to be different, right? And how do we allow young men the space and the opportunity to explore those differences and to embrace those differences?
And I think that leads into a really good question. We talk about all of these things we talk about is so that they can grow.
So that they can grow.
Grow as a person. And as Black people, I was like, I know this is a typo, but it's grow with 2 W's.
It's grow with 2 W's.
I was like, I was like, now I know this like a type. So, okay, let's talk about why that word grow and why the 2 W's.
Why the 2 W's? So our impact model is shifting to grow. So it stands for goal-oriented academics. So we want to work with every one of our members to, what are your academic goals? We have an academic standard that we expect all of our members to be at a 2.5 or above GPA, right? I'm challenging our academic team to grow that. I want to see us about a 2.7. 2.7 is college ready, and 70% of our members show up that way. How do we get that to 80? How do we get that to 90? How do we get that to 100, right? And that starts with very, very specific goals with young men. Why are you not performing academically? Is it you're not doing your work? Is it that you're not going to school? Is it that you can't afford pencils or a notebook? Do you not have a laptop? Whatever it is, we'll find the resources to fix it, right? But what are your academic challenges, and how do we put together a tangible plan to make sure that you do not continue to have those challenges?
Okay.
Because we, like I said, we really want to, while we're proud of the 75%, I believe it can be better, right?
Of course.
I believe that all young men can leave our program college ready, even if that's not what you choose to do.
Exactly.
Still be ready for it. And then, we go into opportunities in the workforce, right? The reality is that as much as we try to escape it, somebody has to go to work. We need carpenters, we need electricians, we need plumbers, we need all of these skilled trades, right? Somebody has to go to work. So how do we make sure that we present trade options to our young men? How do we because the reality is that college is not for everyone. And whoever wants to debate me, I got time.
Look, I went to college. It wasn't for me. I could have gotten to this career path a totally different way. There are options.
I went to college to be a teacher, and here I am.
Look at us, not doing what we spent all that money doing. So there's opportunity.
And then the people be trying to send me a bill, and be like, "But wait, I don't know you.
I don't know you.
I don't even know you.
I don't know your name.
What's a Nelnet?"
Didn't she change to Mahalia? I saw y'all gave her a new name. I was like, who is this?
Who is her?
Same person.
Same person. So
yes.
we want to make sure that our young men have soft skills, that you know how to interview, that you know how to show up to an interview, right?
Say that.
Resume skills. I see so many of our Black and brown young people show up to their first interview at a college, and I'll be like, oh, you're not going to get the job. Bless your heart, right?
Right.
But who taught them? Who
right.
told them?
Exactly.
Right? That you don't wear your long eyelashes to your interview. Right?
Those
that
are your nighttime.
That your stylish pants that we all love to wear. I wear them. Those aren't what you wear to your interview. That you wear a nice navy blue or you wear a nice charcoal suit, right? You don't even wear black, right? So teaching them all of those things about the workforce. And then we have a great partnership. Shout out to Hillman Solutions. Where we have paid internships. So we have 5 young men who just, I think their last day was Friday, got to work in real corporate jobs. So how do we expand that work? And how do we help our young men get more real work experience and understand what it's like to work in corporate, what it's like to really have a real job with real expectations.
Right, exactly.
Opportunities in STEAM. So STEAM, so science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics, right? The reality is that technology is not going anywhere. AI is not going anywhere, right? So we want to make sure that our young men are prepared for the 21st century, and we do that through our great partnership with the Gaston Foundation. Shout out to my girl, Whitney. We got to send a group of young men to NESB, to the National Black Engineer Conference in Chicago, right? So we're excited to send another group this year to Baltimore. I told them I would go, but I wasn't going to ride that bus with them.
I'll meet you there.
I'll see y'all there. I'll be on my Delta flight.
Hey, I'll be waiting for you. I got to prepare.
Waiting. I'll get the rooms checked in.
There it is. That's what you're doing.
I'll scope everything
Prepare
out
a place for
y'all.
You. Yes.
But I'm not sitting on that bus for 9 hours,
no.
right?
That's part of the experience, though.
That's a part
of doing that in your younger days.
For y'all, somebody else, right?
Yes.
So, and then art. Art is a form of expression, right? So how do we help? And it all goes together, right? There is no engineering without art, right? You cannot build a building that is not designed, right? And then mathematics, of course, making sure that all of our members are, that they can do math at their grade level is very important to us. And then when we get into W, the first W. So there were 2. There was 2, Lacey.
There was 2. I thought it was a typo. Grow. We grow.
Grow.
Say it with us now. Grow.
Wealth through financial literacy. We know that there is a huge, not a small, but a huge wealth gap. A huge one, right? We got to close it. And I believe that it starts with this generation of young men that we have, right? How do we teach them the power of money? Nobody told me about the power of money. Nobody told me how different your pre-approval looks when you buy a house with A and with B. Why don't we have those conversations?
Huge difference.
They're huge differences. Even like I just bought a new condo, right? And it's like the process was even different. Why don't we talk about that? And why don't we teach wealth, right? So that's why it's just not financial literate. It's good for you to know you need a bank account, to have a savings, 30, 20, 70, whatever. All of that is wonderful.
Yeah.
But how do you accrue wealth? And what is wealth? Not rich. I don't need you to be rich. I need you to be wealthy.
I like that.
Yep.
That's really good.
Thank you.
You have some good ideas.
Kind of like I just,
Like you know what you're doing.
maybe.
Give us some money. Okay.
Drop the give link because I do kind of know what I'm.
Just a little bit. Because, I mean, in this whole process, whether you've gained knowledge, your staff has gained knowledge, that's what we're talking about, growing and stretching. So what do you think is one area that you're going to have to
do the last W.
Stretch your... Oh, you didn't. I'm sorry. Grow. Grow.
Drop the link to give for the last W. Wellness for your mind, your body, and your spirit.
Okay.
Right? So we're not dropping mental health. Mental health will always remain a part of our organization, right? But how do we shift that into you being well, right? Because it's one thing for you to be great mentally, right? But your body is not, right? So how do we teach wellness, what wellness is through nutrition, through fitness, through dental hygiene?
So important.
So important, right? So shout out to Kiana Tripu and Health Path for the grant that we received from them to be able to do some work to focus on teeth, on dental hygiene, on skincare, right? Teaching young men how can you clean your face and keep your face glowing.
Yeah.
You got to have a glow.
That's awesome.
So that's where Groww, all of those things come together.
Grow.
So we'll be there for 24 months, for 2 years.
With that grow.
We'll grow. We'll be growing
where that goes.
for 24 months.
Okay. I'm excited to see where that goes. You're going to calculate that growth each year to see where
Absolutely.
you go with that?
And then we're going to do a legacy of impact, and I'm going to roll out of here.
You going to roll out of where? Y'all, he playing.
I'm just kidding.
He just playing. He just playing, right? Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. Okay, so going forward, looking to your new chapter.
Sure.
Because like you said, when you grow, everybody grows.
Everybody grows.
Everything grows, and that's good for the organization. So going into your new season, what's the energy? What's the mission? We know the mission is still the same, but with the growing and the additives, what are we looking forward to?
It is so interesting because I would say this is my first year that I'm going to get to really function just as the CEO.
Ooh.
That's a whole word.
That's
like,
really powerful.
Just getting to like do CEO work. And I don't really know what that fully means or how you even really do that. But really excited for the team that we have in place. We spent all summer vetting, the best candidates to be mentors for our organization. It's a long process, and we put a lot of work, time, money, energy into it. So I'm so excited. I'm so excited for our expansion and our partnership with Cincinnati Public Schools. We'll be doing some work in the middle schools. I love middle schoolers. They're like the perfect combination of like not too small. Like you don't need me to tie your shoes, but like you also need me to like walk you to the door. Like it's like the perfect middle. So we're really excited about that. Really excited about our graduating, our seniors, of course. Most of them have been here since 5th, 6th grade. So you keep just seeing this progression. Our first class of 4th graders are now high schoolers.
That's insane.
Yeah. So just a lot of excitement just around the growth of the organization. Our kind of original ecosystem, if you will, has kind of moved on. Like most of them have graduated. So it's just interesting to see from my vantage point, like, oh wow, like this is for real.
Right. Like, okay, wait a second.
This is a real thing. Like,
you're at the point of like
this keeps
duplicating.
going. Yeah.
To do it over.
Yeah.
And so like you talked about, finally being in that CEO role, you're growing, you're expanding. We talked about energy, we talked about mission. How are you going to do all of this with still keeping that grassroots Forever King alive when you just really said your grassroots era and group is moving on because they kind of were here with they grew with you, so they were there to tell the class before, but now the class before is new and the next class is new. So how are you going to keep that foundation while you're still growing? But
So I would say keeping that grassroots feel is culture. And organizations do not spend enough time on culture, on branding excellence, right? I showed a video to in a pitch that we were doing about to a funder, right? And they were like, the branding consistency is like nothing I've ever seen before. And I was like
yes,
you know what I'm saying? But
yes,
at every site, at every location, at every event, it is Forever Kings. It walks like Forever Kings. It talks like Forever Kings. It feels like Forever Kings. And when that is not the case, we say time out, we have a problem. When we have young men, they don't even recognize it, right? But there is a pride that they have. So when we started at Coronation Middle School in February this year, right? And you would have thought that giving them those hats with the crown on it was like giving them $1 million. But there is because we've established Forever Kings as kind of a household name, right? It has made young men want to be a part of it and want to be prideful when they're wearing their black-owned jackets, right? That's dope when you're walking around downtown and you're like, oh, that's my jacket that you got on, right? Yeah. So I think it's culture. I think it's making sure that you have the right people, right? Bishop Jake says, hire slow, fire quick.
Ooh, yes.
So you got to make sure that you got the right people in the right seats to move the work forward. And I think that finding ways to make a big organization small, right? So the only 3 times a year we bring everybody all together, but it's great that because Coronation Middle School doesn't function like DePaul. DePaul won't function like CPS. Like 3 CPS schools could function totally different, right? But at the end of the day, we are Forever Kings, and you see that uplifted. End of the year celebration is such a good moment of like, for the first time, we had all 4 sites, partners, funders, donors, everybody there together to see this is why we do what we do.
Nice. And it's amazing to really see that, like you said, it is an air that these young men have about being Forever Kings. When I'm at these different banquets, doing things, and you read off their accomplishments, and I get to the bottom, I'm like, oh, they're also part of Forever Kings. In my head, I'm like, duh. Like, duh. Like, all the accolades outside of the sports, outside of the normal extracurricular activity.
Well-rounded.
You can tell they're so well-rounded and grounded in what they're doing. And you can really tell a difference.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
If I had a son, he'd be a Forever King.
You're going to have one day.
He's going to be a Forever King. Okay, we need a Forever Queen, so I'm just going to put that out there. Don't breathe like that. I've been wanting to talk to you about that for a minute now. But look, what do the next 6 and beyond look like?
Man, I just, honestly, I just trust the Lord. And wherever he goes, I go. We just did a new strategic plan, Vision 2029, that will carry us through the end of 2029 and really, like I said, stabilizing. Not that the organization is unstable, but how do we get into those roots? How do we make sure that there's strong SOPs? How do we make sure that there's strong and clear systems? How do we make sure that if the wind blows, the house doesn't fall? That if I'm the leader, whether you're the leader, whether Billy Bob Joe Young is the leader, whether it's in Columbus, whether it's in New York, whether it's in Atlanta, whether it's in Mexico, whether it's in Africa, that it is Forever Kings. And this is how Forever Kings functions, is what we're focused on. And then, of course, the King's Castle. So we revealed that at the gala last year.
That was amazing.
Yeah. It costs about $10 million to build. So we'll be launching a capital campaign in the next 2 to 3 years to build that here. And then what we're really piloting with this hub space that we have, that we're currently in, is what does it look like to build a hub in a different city, right? That houses community resources that can be used for our programming, offices or whatever. Because the beautiful thing is that if it doesn't work, you pack up.
Move
You
on to the next one. Yeah.
We tried Atlanta. Atlanta wasn't for us, right? We were not saying that we did. I'm just saying, using that as an example,
Yeah.
right? You try it. You open a hub for 24 months. You don't see the fruit that you want to see. You close it. You cut your losses. You try somewhere else, right? But having that permanent facility here, and what we want to do with it is show other people, so schools, rec centers, boys, and everyone, what does it look like to serve boys and young men of color well? And what does it look like to build a building, right? A space that is 100% for them, built by them. So that is the King's Castle. And that's my legacy project is building that and being able to show my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren that what is possible when you don't give up and when you don't quit. That we went from this 700 square foot apartment to what we will, break ground on, we believe, by the end of 2029, $10 million building.
That's
in 10 years.
Incredible.
Yeah. It's going to happen.
That's incredible. I know it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
I believe in it.
Thank you.
You're amazing, Jordan. You're doing some awesome things. These Kings are forever grateful to have you around, especially young Black men. And I like what you said. You're doing it, and you're doing it well.
Yep.
Some people start programs or things just to do it, to have space and take up space. But you're taking up space, and you're taking up space very well.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Before we go,
Yeah.
some rapid fire questions for you here. 1 sentence answers only.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Best memory from season 6.
I would say end of the year celebration.
Okay. Hardest lesson learned.
Say less, do less.
Funniest King moment.
Probably at high school intensive, them pushing me in the pool like in my clothes.
Please say your phone wasn't in your pocket.
Hey, if it was, Forever Kings was gonna buy me a new one. It's okay.
Okay. Oh,
The things that you just accept when you are leading an organization full of 500 men, you just kind of learn.
Something like that is going to happen.
Yep.
Okay, this is a really good one. Song that describes your journey.
Never would have made it.
Okay, you got to pick another one.
Why?
Because I knew you were going to pick that one.
One man can change the world.
Ooh. Okay. One word for season 7. And it can't be Groww.
Expectation. I'm expecting great things from our ecosystem. So we consider our board members, our partners, our donors, our foundation partners. Everyone is a part of this ecosystem. That's where the slogan, "We are Forever Kings," comes from.
I love it. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us for
We'll
King
see
Chat.
you at the Building Strong Men Gala, September 27th, 6 to 10 p.m. It's open bar.
Ooh. Did y'all hear that?
Top shelf liquor.
What?
Open bar, 6 to 10 p.m. Building Strong Men Gala. We were the first. To have an event that uplifts young men. So please come out. I have a saying that if you're not a part of the solution, that you're a part of the problem. Mm-hmm. So come join us and be a part of the solution and have a great time.
That's right. Thank you.
See ya.
See ya.